Hello! I hope you're all okay and all good. Welcome to another video. My name is George. For those of you who don't know, feel free to subscribe down below if you're not already. And this is Jordan. Hello. Hi. It's 8:45. We are just getting ready to go down to breakfast at the hotel. We are at the Delta Hotel Marriott in Milton Keynes. So we're going downstairs to have breakfast before we head off to Bletchley Park for a little day out.
Schindler's Lift.
Hello. What's happened?
The kind check-in lady has taken our order for a full English. Normally it's a buffet breakfast, but due to COVID we can't have that. So I've ordered poached eggs and you've ordered scrambled eggs, as always.
Always.
Yeah. So wait to see what comes.
Yeah.
I have no idea. There's a mystery breakfast coming out of the kitchen, and there's cold things over at the bar that we're gonna go and have a look at. Like, I don't know, fruit and weird things.
She
like
said
that.
bread, so I guess all the toast
bread
and
is
stuff
fine,
is over there.
but also weird fruit things like apples.
Weird fruit things like apples.
This is not a healthy holiday.
Clearly.
Pastry.
It's nice. I love a croissant.
Give a little bit of finger action.
Oh, granddad.
How's mine?
That honestly does look delicious.
It does look delicious. You made an error. You've got a
think so.
boring croissant.
I like a boring croissant. Hello! So, we have made it to Bletchley Park. Oh, we didn't talk about breakfast. Did you enjoy breakfast?
Yes.
It was very nice, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Had
Nice
lots
full
of
English,
things.
which you will have seen.
Yeah.
With George's mushrooms, because he doesn't like mushrooms. Yeah, it was very nice.
Yeah, it was really
and
good.
the delicious muffin, which you also saw.
It was a very nice breakfast. I was really surprised.
Yeah, it's the first sort of hotel we've been in post, or during COVID, I should say.
Yes.
And obviously all of the hot stuff would have been ordinarily self-served, wouldn't it? But it was fine.
I think it just meant that the hash browns were crunchier because they weren't being kept
Cooked
in a
to
little
order.
doodah.
Yeah, instead of being steamed. Yeah.
Yes. So we have made it to Bletchley Park, which is right near Milton Keynes.
Yeah, it was about 20 minutes from the hotel, wasn't it?
Yeah, about that.
If you do want to visit, it's quite a good hotel option to stay at.
Absolutely. So for those of you who don't know, my knowledge of Bletchley Park is not like big, which is kind of why we're here, to learn a bit more about it. But Bletchley Park is, even on the sign it says home of the codebreakers, because it is at Bletchley Park where a lot of men and women worked with like decoding machines to decode messages that were being sent by Germans during the Second World War. Most famously Alan Turing, who, there was the film The Enigma Code that came out a few years ago, that was Benedict Cumberbatch was in it, and it was all about his life as a codebreaker and things like that. And unfortunately he was not really appreciated during his time because of all of the homophobia in the world, so he had kind of a shit time of it by the end. We're kind of here to learn a bit more about it. I've wanted to come here for a really long time, so it's really lovely of Jordan to take me here.
Yeah, on that front, I do know that Bletchley Park is a charity and are in dire need of money because of COVID. So if you do get a chance to visit, please do. I think in 2011 they managed to secure some funding from the National Lottery, about about £4 million, I think, to restore Bletchley Park and sort of keep it running for a few years. But with COVID, they're not getting a lot of visitors, and it'd be sad to lose something like this.
It's a huge part of British history, and if you are a homosexual who's watching this, it's a huge part of queer history as well. And I mean, you may have heard Alan Turing's name if you've not heard of the Enigma Code or Bletchley Park. You may have heard it in the news because he was going to be on the £10 note. Was it the £10 note? And now he's going to be on the 50.
Yeah.
He was like in the running to be on the 10, and now he's on the 50 instead.
Yeah. But obviously we're here to discover that it's probably not all about Alan Turing, and find out the background of something a little bit before our time. But please do visit, or at least check out the website and see what it's all about. Yeah,
and you did say actually that they've written to places like Apple and Google, and
there's an MP which has written to numerous companies like Apple, Google, Microsoft to try and secure some more funding to keep it running for a few more years.
So,
obviously we haven't been in yet, but I do know it would be a sad loss if it was to go. It's an iconic place. Yeah, so we're gonna go have a look, and if you enjoy this, I'll leave links to like the website and anything else that can offer you more information or anything like that. I'll leave it in the description so you can go and find out more if you wish it. Shall we go? Yeah.
Okay.
The sky in wartime was never again a peaceful place. The era of air warfare was underway.
Okay, so this is a visual representation of the number of messages intercepted and passed to Bletchley Park in 6 months of World War II. 250,000. This is a visual representation of the number of email messages sent in an average hour in 2016 worldwide. 10 billion.
10 billion? I can't even fit it in. Can't even fit it in.
It's too big.
Wow.
It's talking about the different kinds of data, like, and the amount of data that people had to deal with
Back then.
versus like the amount, like how much it's changed.
And imagine how much it's grown since 2016
Well,
too.
indeed, like it's probably exponential, isn't it? Wild. Oh my god, what do I say?
Say something.
Hello, I hope you're all okay and all good. Welcome to another video. My name is George.
More broad things like problem solving, teamwork, trying to come up with new ways to fix kind of brand new problems. I guess also communicating with other people, because a lot of the time we're trying to solve problems with people other people, and that could be
That is so
cool.
cool cats and kittens. We've actually already been here for an hour and a half. We've not even left the first building yet because we've been doing so much reading and learning and looking and things. We've just gone to get multimedia guides, which come with lanyards and headphones, to start our little wander around the rest of Bletchley Park. But like I've already found this like so incredibly interesting. Like just looking at all of the exhibits that you've already seen, that you will have seen because we will have shown video of it, of like things about World War One and things about World War Two and how the ciphers came about and the codebreakers at Bletchley Park and things.
Oh. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you, but it's got Stephen Fry on there as the narrator.
Well, what a delight that is. So we're going to pop the
Nice.
multimedia guide on and carry on. Code-breaking cat. Look at the colours of this cat. I know we're not here to look at the cat, but look how pretty it is.
Two of my friends are getting married when their lads are on leave. They're the same size, so they're going to wear the same dress. Saving on clothing coupons. Then it's goodbye hubby and see you in a year. With any luck. Oh, looks like we've got some results.
This war has been going on for so long that it seems the natural state of affairs. Peace, when it comes, will take a bit of getting used to.
Keep it dark.
Finding out about the carrier pigeons, and there are carrier pigeons with medals. This is amazing.
So the guy outside was just explaining that obviously with communications not being as good as they are today, that pigeons ended up doing a lot of the work in the war, and this room is dedicated to them.
I will never look at pigeons the same way again. I mean, I knew carrier pigeons did stuff, but like...
We didn't know about the award-winning pigeons.
No. But also, like, as a pigeon, you must feel so subpar sometimes.
As a normal
As a
pigeon.
normal pigeon who just, like, picks up rubbish in London, you must just feel... all of the times they feel shame.
So here's the pigeon map. And here's Mary, the pigeon grave.
Amazing. Awarded the Dickin Medal for Outstanding War Service.
Oh, and there she is. That is Mary.
You're so mean.
Here's a pigeon parachute.
You laugh, Jordan, but these pigeons, like, contribute to the war effort.
That is
Like-
true. That is true. I shouldn't be such a millennial, but there's something about a pigeon parachute which is just too much.
Award-winning pigeons.
And the pigeons with trophies as well.
I love it. weather has turned somewhat. We've been in quite a lot of huts since we last spoke to you. Obviously we went into hut 11 and 11A, which you'll have seen, which is where the bomb machine is. We've since been in hut 3, 8 and 6. I don't know where to start with that. Do you want to go?
Yeah, well, I think what we found quite... Oh, let me take these out.
Yeah.
I can hear myself. I think what we found quite fascinating is that all of these people that were working in these huts all have a different function, but it seems like nobody knew what each other's function actually was.
Yeah.
So the ladies and men that worked in huts, hut 6 were the ones that were deciphering all of the German Enigma messages, and then they were having to telephone people who they didn't have a clue who they were telephoning to pass those deciphered messages to, and it turns out they were actually telephoning hut 3, which is right next door. You can see hut 3 behind us there.
That's 3.
And hut 6 is behind me here. And they were literally telephoning from 6 with the decipher message into 3. And then obviously they were dispatching the army personnel and so on. But the ladies working in hut 6 didn't actually have a clue who they were telephoning.
Yeah.
And didn't find out until about 50 years later that these people they were phoning were actually right next door.
Yeah.
Literally separated by this gap you can see here.
Yeah.
Where they would occasionally shove through the messages.
Yeah, they had
on a little wooden tray as well. So super fascinating.
Yeah.
How secret this whole operation was.
And you will have seen, like, on some of the footage that we got inside hut, on some of the footage that we got inside hut 3, you will have seen, like, there was messages on the wall about, like, keeping your conversations quiet, not talking about anything outside of those walls, keep it dark, because conversations cost lives. So they were keeping everything so under wraps, to not even talk about anything, possibly even with each other,
Well, not
outside
having a
of
clue
these huts.
what each other's job role was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think what was also fascinating is the horrible working conditions that these ladies and gents having to work in, like horrible cramped rooms. Although interestingly enough, the difference between flat 6, the difference between hut 6 where the decipher ladies were working, and hut 3 where the sort of bigwigs and what do they call them?
Duty officers.
Duty officers, predominantly men, strangely enough, was quite striking. So the ladies have their little pokey, dark rooms with wooden floors and tatty wooden desks, and then the duty officers have their nice sprawling rooms with much nicer desks and floors and big windows, whereas the ladies in hut 6 have little tiny windows. But what I have liked is they're really pushing the importance of women, aren't they, in the winning of the war, even if the working conditions were pretty terrible.
Yeah, and that's also something that was in the Wrens in hut 11, which I think you will have seen some of. It was even written on the walls, people that were working on the bomb machines and keeping them clean and stuff. The rooms were, like, even described on these things as, like, hot and smelly.
Yeah, and you really get that vibe, actually. They're so pokey and horrible and smelly. They're actually still smelly now. Yeah, so I did definitely find that fascinating.
Yeah, it's all really interesting, and I love that they're focusing on the women as well as on the men that did this. There's a quote that I think I showed right near the beginning, which was I think based on World War I, actually, I think, rather than World War II, about how it was a lot of men and a lot of women. It was the most, was it heterogeneous?
Yeah, I've never heard. I don't think I've ever heard.
Never heard that word before, but it was the most heterogeneous stuff. People, like men and women from all classes, from all walks of life, coming together to work on these amazing things that happened here. Constantly. In fact, I'm thinking about food right now, but that might just be because we've just read the thing about thinking a lot about food. Ooh, how meta.
Are you excited by the smell of watery cabbage and stale fat?
Oh my gosh, it sounds like an absolute dream.
Mmm. spoke too soon about the sort of fancy officers, didn't we?
No, it just got fancier. Commander Dunstan.
Imagine that as an office.
That's the dream, isn't it?
Mm.
This is what I want my office to look like when we have a house.
What, with all this wood panelling
Yeah.
and the
buy me
elaborate
this.
ceiling?
Just buy me this. How many bits am I gonna buy? How many bits am I gonna buy?
I haven't tried since they got the corn scoop. I've tried the salted caramel. I still want to try the waffles from Hut before, but I haven't had a chance. So I'm just sat in the car waiting for Jordan to get in. We are all done at Bletchley Park for the day. We're going to talk more about it later on, well, when we get home, because we're about to head home now, but it was just the best. It's so good. I bought myself a little souvenir brochure that I'll show you later, and a copy of a book called The Secret Lives of Bletchley Park, which I remember from when I worked at Waterstones quite a while ago, but I want to learn more. I want to know more about it. But yes, we're going to talk about it when we get home, but I just want to sort of do a little wrap up of the day, in terms of like, we're on our way home now. It is 5:10, so I've been here for like a good 5 and a bit hours, so yes, more when we get home probably. I'm really hungry right now as well. I don't know how to break it to Jordan that like I want food. Hey sweets, it is 8:45. We have been back for a couple of hours now. We didn't have food in the end. I know I mentioned in the last clip that I was hungry and that I was going to broach it with Jordan. And Jordan did mention on the way home that we were going to have some food. But there was nowhere to stop on the M1 or on the M25. So we just came back hungry.
We've made up for that.
We have more than made up for it with toast, the last 2 donuts, and a bag of crisps.
Healthy and nutritious.
So healthy. Oh my god. We did have. I said we had toast, right?
Yeah.
It could have been worse. It has been worse in the last few days.
Yeah.
So let's go into Bletchley Park. Do you want to go first?
No.
Okay. I had an amazing time. We spent about 5.5 hours there, maybe total, and it just flew by. We were just wandering around everything, as you will have seen, taking videos, reading all of the little bits of signage that they had everywhere, and really just like taking the time to take everything in. I found it all so fascinating. I'm not like a big history buff, I don't know huge amounts about the First World War or the Second World War or anything like that. And it was all just really, really interesting. Does this mean I'm getting old, that I'm getting interested in history?
No.
Okay. I just thought it was really, really interesting. And also what I thought was interesting, and I've already said this to you, is that it wasn't all about Alan Turing, as you said. Like, we learned about all sorts of people. We learned about Dilly. We learned about Gordon. We learned about Mavis Beatty, who I love. She's iconic. She knows all the 4-letter German swear words because they're some of the things that they put in the code. It was so much fun. I really, really enjoyed myself. The last thing we did actually before we left was they had what I think is a new exhibit on D-Day. So it's a couple of things to read, and there's like a 10 or 15 minute film, which was just beautifully made.
It really was, wasn't it? That the theatre room was really impressive, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was this great big wall with lots of different squares on it, and it was a giant film. There were parts of it in places that got repeated. There were subtitles on it throughout. It was really, really interesting and quite moving to watch in places as well, because again, I don't even know that much about like D-Day and stuff like that, and that was all about D-Day, so that was really, really interesting as well. And it was just a really beautiful place to be. I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Yeah, I think we're mindful of not showing too much because
Oh yes,
people should go and see it. That's the whole point of this thing. It's sort of like if you go to a museum and photograph everything, there's nothing left to see. So we didn't want to show everything, and obviously to be mindful of other people that were visiting as well. And in terms of COVID, there was a lot of we had to be mindful of social distancing, and there's limited capacity to each of the exhibits. Although we didn't have to wait to get into any of them, or barely. We wanted to be respectful of other people visiting. But yeah, there was quite a lot to see there, wasn't there? It was a lovely area, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Around the mansion and the lake. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, because I know I sort of, you put the feelers out about perhaps wanting to go there one day.
Yeah,
I
I
thought I'd
did.
take you there.
It was really, really fun. It was really interesting, and even though we were there for fun, also the ticket that we bought was like, we can go back for like the rest of the year, which is kind of amazing, because actually, like, when she said that, I was like, cool, but if when we've done it, when would we need to come back again? But actually, like, we saw most things, but not everything. Like, we were there for a solid 5 hours, but we were reading everything, and taking everything in, and there were 2 buildings, maybe 3 buildings that we didn't get into on the day, and like, we didn't even, like, you know what we're like, we love to have a sit. Like, we didn't like sit down and have food or anything. We were just, the whole time we were just looking at things. So like, it is something that you I mean, if you're gonna go, make a day of it like we did. Maybe make a couple of days of it if you are so inclined, but yeah, you can go back again. So
Yes. Yeah, I didn't know that. When I booked the tickets, it wasn't obvious that you get the whole year included, so that's quite good. And for those that were inclined, there was plenty of free parking.
Oh yeah.
Plenty of toilets.
Yes, actually, yeah,
and food. So yeah, good place to be.
it really was. Like, it was just a really, really lovely day. I bought some things in the gift shop, which I did mention in a previous clip, but I'll show you them now. I got the souvenir gift book. Oh, sorry, I nearly whacked you right in the mug. I got the souvenir guidebook, which I did see on the front desk on the way in, and thought, oh, I'm going to pick myself up one of those on the way out, which is pictures and information about stuff that we looked at while we were there. And I wanted to pick up a book while we were there, because it is also interesting, and I want to learn more about it, and I want to read more about it. And I probably am going to download the audiobook of The Enigma Code, which is, I think it's called The Enigma Code, which is an Alan Turing book that The Imitation Game, the film that Benedict Cumberbatch was in, is based on. And I think earlier on in this vlog, I referred to the film as The Enigma Code, and it's not. It's The Imitation Game. So I had the book title in my head, clearly. Classic. So I looked at all the books and decided which one I wanted to get, and I got The Secret Life of Bletchley Park by Sinclair Kay. Nearly hit you again.
No.
I'm so sorry. The World War II Code-Breaking Centre and the men and women who worked there. I remember this from my Waterstones book selling days, and I can remember being aware of what Bletchley Park was and thinking, oh, that would probably be an interesting thing to read, and then I never did, or I never bought it. But I wanted something that wasn't too heavy going because, like I said already, I'm not a big history buff. So I want something that's kind of narrative non-fiction, I guess, rather than non-fiction. So I'll get to this at some point, and I'll tell you what I think, probably, because that's kind of what this channel is. Anything else to add, my love?
No, I'm just glad you had fun.
I did. I had a very nice time.
Yeah, and I think it was nice. I know I mentioned it before, but it was nice to see something that wasn't all about one person.
Yes.
And that really did champion women. 80. So what was it?
3/4.
So 75% of the 8,000 people that worked there over the course of the war were women. So that's pretty impressive.
And that's what it said on the in that D-Day film thing that we watched. It was it said that 3/4 of them were women, and it showed a bunch of them, including. I mean, I only remember Maeve Beatty because there were a couple of like quotes on walls that had her, not Mavis Beatty, that had like her saying things, but they talked about a lot of them in there, and yeah, I think that's really amazing that it was kind of. I mean, ahead of its time is the wrong thing, but like, do you know what I mean? It was sort of.
Well, yeah, and unfortunately they went largely underappreciated.
Yeah.
In a similar sense to the ink and paint girls
Yes.
at Disney, like, you know, working massively hard on these star projects, but not getting the recognition until it's too late. Same with the ink and paint girls and the Bletchley Park girls.
Yeah, and there were actually a few books in the Bletchley Park bookshop. The Bletchley Park gift shop. It wasn't just a bookshop. There were a lot of books, but it wasn't just a bookshop. That was specifically about the women who worked at Bletchley Park. So I will leave links to the Bletchley Park website and also the shop website as well. They had like a website, so if you wanted to have a look at those books, I can leave.
They had an email address, which I thought was odd.
It wasn't an email. It was shop at Bletchley Park. Was it?
Yeah, shop@bletchleypark.org.uk is an email address.
It's not a website.
No, which is why I was confused by it. But it may be a website.
If it's a
I
website,
imagine it is a website.
If it's a website, I will leave it linked below. But either way, I'll leave all the information that you could possibly need in the description box below. If you are in the area or going to be near the area, do go along. You do have to book. You have to buy tickets and book a time slot.
Yes,
you said.
due to COVID, you have to pick your slot, which is fine. Because if you buy the tickets online, I think you can book your slot online. But there's sometimes tickets available elsewhere. I got the tickets on Virgin Experience Days. What is it? Virgin Experience... Experience. Something about Virgin Experience. They've got tickets on there. Yeah, buy them on there and then book your slot online.
Yeah, it do go along. Like, if you have even the faintest interest in British history, in the World Wars, anything like that, go along, because it's really, really fascinating. And I think even if you're not someone who's necessarily interested in history, it's just really, really interesting to know about. And like, you hear about all of the amazing things that these people did to help I think what they said was it cut the war short by like 2 years. Yes. It's incredible. And like, you hear about all of it, and they're doing things that my brain can't even fathom. Like the way that they worked out all these codes, I can't even get my head around it. But it's amazing. So do go along if you're in the area. It's very, very interesting.
And don't forget that none of us would be here without the pigeons.
That's so true. I mean, we laugh and we joke, but those pigeons...
They saved the war.
They did. And on that note, thank you so much for watching this like kind of random little interlude series of vlogs, if you watched all of them.
But if you did enjoy it, let us know. Because it was testing the water.
It was testing the waters for like day trips and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, there's two places that perhaps a bit niche for YouTube. Bakewell and Bletchley.
Yeah.
Alton Towers, not so much.
Not so much.
But if you like something a little bit niche, we could always find somewhere else to go and have a look about.
Absolutely. So if you liked this video, don't forget to put a thumb on it and subscribe down below if you want to see more. Leave us a comment if you enjoyed it as well. And if you're thinking about going to Bletchley Park, do let us know. If you do go, let us know, because I don't know, I'd love to hear what you think of it all. Thank you so much for watching. I love each and every one of your faces, but not as much as I love Jordan's for taking me to all of these fun places over the last few days. And I'll speak to you as soon as I possibly can. Say bye. Don't go to sleep. 1, 2, 3. Bye.